Hey, it's the Tax Lien Lady, and we're live on Facebook. I couldn't do it the normal way I do it, so I'm not sure how I can see everything that's going on. Nicole, if you're here, I don't know, maybe you can help me out. I could not use StreamYard. So, okay, let's see. All right, I think so I'm right in Facebook doing this for the first time in a long time. Normally I use something called StreamYard to do these Facebook Lives, but yeah, we're live now on Facebook, and I'm here to answer your questions. This is Ask the Tax Lien Lady Live, and I'm here to answer your questions on tax lien and tax deed investing. And normally we do these at 2 o'clock Eastern time. And for the rest of the month of October, and hi, Nicole. I just got done saying how I wasn't able to use StreamYard today. I couldn't get into StreamYard for some reason, so I'm doing this right on Facebook. But it's a little bit different than the last time I did this. I'm not able to actually see it right on Facebook in like the setup page for it. So, but I can see the comments. Um, anyway, but I'm happy to have you here with me to help me out, because I will need you to put stuff into the comments for me. And I was just also saying how we normally do this at 2 o'clock every Tuesday, but this month, for the rest of the month of October, we're doing it at 1 o'clock on Tuesday. And that is because Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 o'clock, I have a webinar with the National Tax Lien Association. And they're doing webinars this month on certain aspects, actually on the name of the series is Pivot, and it's all about what's going on with COVID and tax lien investing. Now, don't confuse the National Tax Lien Investing Association, which is ntla.org, with a business that calls themselves the U.S. Tax Lien Association. They're just a business. They're not really an association. The National Tax Lien Association is an association, and they are a nonprofit. They have a nonprofit organization. What they do is they do give money to people. They try to help veterans that are losing their homes to tax sales. But they also lobby for tax lien investors, and they do a lot for tax lien investors. I am at this time not a member of the Tax Lien Association. They are really geared towards institutional buyers and players in that space. So attorneys, people who provide things for the industry, like tax sale data. So it's not cheap to become a member of the National Tax Lien Association. But they do provide a lot of good information. So I do like to get onto their trainings whenever they offer them to the public at a price. And these webinars were a very good price, very affordable. And if you want to find anything about it, you can go to ntla.org. Okay. So what questions do we have, Nicole, about tax lien investing today, about investing in tax liens? One of the things that I was in a webinar with them last Thursday, and one of the things that they went over is what has actually happened this year in light of COVID, what has happened to the tax sales. Some people expected that we'd have a lot more properties in these tax sales, that there'd be a lot more available. But that's not actually what happened for liens. They expect that that's actually going to happen in 2021. but it did happen. There was a wave of more properties available in the tax deed sales, and they expect that to continue in 2021. And Nicole has put the link for the National Tax Lien Association in the comments for you. Okay, and they are trying to do more for individual investors. They have been in the past really geared to helping the institutional buyers, but they are trying to reach out to individual investors. And one thing that they're doing now is having a tax lien in investing university, and actually accrediting people to be tax lien investors. I haven't been involved in that yet. Maybe in the future. Okay, but currently not now. Okay, so Nicole is checking messages to see if we have any questions. And if you have any questions, you could just type in to the comments and let me know what your questions are about investing in tax liens or tax deeds. I do want to tell you that I have a special workshop coming up Sunday on redeemable tax deeds, and we'll be going over a lot of things for redeemable tax deeds, including how to register, where to go to register for these sales. Are any of them online? If so, where do you find them? How do you register for them? How do you do your due diligence for these tax sales? And which are the better states to invest in? What are the differences among these states that sell redeemable deeds? Because they're all very different. And so if you're interested in joining us for that workshop, it is a 2-hour workshop this Sunday from 1:00 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, and Nicole can put that link in there for you to find out more about that workshop and register. It's $149 for the workshop, and you get the recording, all the materials. I'm working on the workbook and the slides now, so there will be a handout, there will be a workbook, there will be articles for you to check out with more information. And I think we'll include a checklist to do due diligence, and basically what you need to be involved in these redeemable deed sales. And if you're not sure if this is something that interests you, or if this is something that you want to spend 2 hours working on Sunday, but you want to find out more about it, then join us tomorrow night for our wealth building webinar. Because now every month we do a wealth building webinar, and it's free to come to this webinar live. If you want the replay, you have to be a member of Wealth Building Webinars. It's only $49 a month to become a member. But tomorrow night's webinar, I'll be doing a preview of what I will be covering on Sunday. So then you'll know if this is something that you want to take part in or not. By the way, if you are a member of the Tax Lien Profits Accelerator, you get access to wealth building webinars, and you get access to all the workshops that we do. So if you're a member of the Tax Lien Profits Accelerator, my monthly membership that I do, and you could do it monthly, you could do it yearly. It's $149 a month, or you could save almost $300 a year by doing it for the year. For it's $14.90 for the year. Then you get all the workshops that we do. And lately I've been doing them every other month. And you also get access to the wealth building webinars, but you get other stuff beyond that. You get access to tax sale resources, where you could find out what tax sales are coming up around the country. In fact, if you do decide that you just want to do the workshop, you will get 30 days in the Tax Lien Profits Accelerator along with the workshop, and you'll be able to see what you could do with tax sale resources. And I'll be showing you how to use tax sale resources in the workshop, and you'll be seeing when these tax liens come up and where to go to get the information. So basically, those are the announcements that I have for you today, and I will be ending this call at by 1:45 because at 2 p.m. I'll be in that webinar with the National Tax Lien Association. So let me see if I could scroll down and see what we have here as far as questions go. All right, Jean. Hi, Jean. Jean says, I went to my tax lien sale last week, was a bit confused. They started at 18 and went into a dollar amount. This is premium bid as opposed to bid down the interest. For example, on a $3,000 lien, the bid amount was $18,000. Do you earn 20% on it? No, you don't. You never earn 20. And Jean, I'm assuming you're talking about New Jersey, right? You do not earn 20%. You can only earn 18% in New Jersey unless some towns do have a 6% year-end penalty. So there is a possibility of getting 24%, but you're not going to get that on what you bid at the tax sale. That's only if you, for certain municipalities, if you pay over $10,000 in subsequent taxes in a given year, then the following year they have another 6% penalty that's added on to it. So you would be getting 18% on your subs and then another 6%, which is 24. But that is not why they're doing that. So if there is a $3,000 lien, yeah, it is common. They would be the $18,000 to get it because they're not going to get anything for that. $18,000 is going to sit with the municipality. They're not going to get any interest on it. They're not going to get any interest on the $3,000. Okay, but they're going to be able to pay subsequent taxes. And November 10th, they could pay a full, right now, they could pay 3/4 of a year taxes. And November 10th, they could pay another quarter. So they could pay, pretty soon, they could pay a full year of taxes on the property and get 18% on that. So the important thing is not the amount of the lien. The lien was $3,000, but was that a year of taxes or was that only a quarter or was it half a year? Because when they pay a full year of taxes, they're going to get 18% on that. So what they'll get when that is redeemed is a blended return. So that's why they will pay premium to get the lien. Okay, because remember, the interest rate gets bid down to zero before premium is bid. Now, we're only talking about New Jersey. This happens nowhere else. So, Jean, I am assuming you are talking about New Jersey. Okay. Yes, you are. Okay, wonderful. Yeah, and that only happens in New Jersey, folks. Most states do one or the other. They'll either bid down the interest or bid up the premium. And some states pay you interest on the premium and some don't. In Colorado, for example, now Colorado tax sales are going on now. In Colorado, or they're starting to go on now. In Colorado, you do not get interest on your premium and you don't even get your premium back if the lien redeems. So it really lowers your interest. So you have lower premiums paid in Colorado than you do in other states where you get interest on your premium. Okay. In New Jersey, you don't. All right, and Nicole put the link in there for the virtual workshop that I'll be doing. And she also put the link in there for wealth building webinars if you guys are interested in the wealth building webinar. She put the registration link so that you could register because it's free to come to the live call. So she put the registration link in there so you could register for Wednesday's call if you haven't already. It's at 8 p.m. tomorrow night. All right, and yes, Ray, I am still live. I'm doing it differently today because I couldn't get onto StreamYard. I normally use StreamYard to get on here, but I couldn't get onto them today. So I'm just right here in Facebook. Oh, Philip's asking, what has been your biggest mistake in tax lien or tax deed investing? I don't know yet, Philip, because I keep making mistakes. Uh, and sometimes I think I made a mistake and it turns out okay. But my biggest mistake has been, I'll just give you one of them. I looked, and this one I even looked at the property, um, but I didn't look at it good enough. I looked at the property and I didn't really know what it was. This happened to me a couple of times that I thought I looked at the property, but I didn't really know what it was. And that can happen if you're looking at the property, but you're not looking at it also. You do have to physically look at the property if you can, right? But you also have to look at a tax map or one of those overhead maps like Google, but one that gives you the property boundaries, okay? And not by address, but by the actual uh, um, physical, legal, I don't know, legal description of the property or the block and lot or however the parcel number, however you would do it, not just the property address. They actually have to show you the boundaries as it would be on a tax map. And I'll tell you why. Because sometimes when you're looking at the properties, you might think you're actually looking at the property, but the actual parcel in the tax sale might just be a piece of the yard. All right, so I've made those mistakes, oh, maybe 3 times in in the almost 2 decades that I've been doing this, in the decade and a half that I've been, or has it? Yeah, almost 2 decades, more than a decade and a half that I've been doing this. Um, and one time, it wasn't too bad of a mistake because I did buy a lien on just a piece of somebody's yard because the house, now I went by and looked at the house and it was a beautiful house, but the house and the yard belonged to the town next door. So they paid those taxes. And it was just a piece of the yard that was in the town that I went to the tax sale that I bought from. So, so I paid like 40 some dollars for this lien. I did record it. So I paid another $40. This is back when it was maybe even $30 at that time. Now it's 50 to record these liens. So I paid the money to record the lien and I just held on to it for years. I paid this, a little bit of the subsequent taxes, but maybe I only paid them for 1 year. Maybe I didn't pay the subsequent taxes at all once I found that out, right? But then years later, it redeemed because the people who owned the property were selling it and they found this tax lien on it and they had to redeem it. Okay, so that's not such a bad mistake. That probably wasn't my worst mistake. My worst mistake happened in 2 other similar cases where I physically looked at the property. In one case, I thought I physically looked at the property, but I was looking at the wrong property because I didn't look at it on the overhead tax map like I was talking about, or the overhead Google map. Back in those days, I didn't have that. Okay, so I didn't see that. And the property that I saw looked pretty good, but the property that was actually in the sale was that you couldn't actually see from the road. But you had this road went over a little bridge that went over a stream, and if you stood on the bridge, you would see this log cabin that was falling in just about, it was on the very bank of this stream, like falling into the stream. That was the property. And that and I I may have even paid the subsequent taxes before I stopped paying on it and finally let it go. Years later, like, I don't know, 15 years later, the town finally foreclosed on it. All right. And I wasn't the first one who made that mistake. I should have known. A little red flag would be that another investor bought a previous lien and didn't pay the subsequent taxes. So that should have been a little red flag. All right, so that, and then there was another one that I did where I did look at the property, but I didn't look at it closely enough. And I looked at it again after I paid the subsequent taxes, but it was covered with snow. When I looked at it again before paying the subsequent taxes again, it was a ditch between two houses. Okay, probably not buildable. Probably like a retention ditch or something like that. So, when you're looking at properties, if it's snowing and everything's covered with snow, come back when that's not the case. Okay. All right. So those are a few of my mistakes, Philip. Recently, and those were ones I made in the past. But sometimes I don't take my own advice and I still make mistakes. And the latest one is, again, I didn't look at the property until after I bought it in the sale. Big mistake. And it was like 123 Ivy Court or something like that. And so I figured, oh, okay, fine. And it was in a cul-de-sac. So I figured, I did look at it on the tax map, but I didn't look at it on the tax map. I looked at it on a map, but it wasn't a tax map that actually showed the boundaries. But even if I had done that, it wouldn't have looked so bad, unless I saw that it was how it was zoned, because it was zoned as open space, which is unbuildable land. And it was, 50 some acres. So I thought, oh, wonderful. When I finally found out that it wasn't an actual house. But when I actually looked at the tax map and saw it was zoned as open space, it's not buildable. So it's really not valuable to anybody except for the town itself. Okay. All right, so we have a few more questions here. Oh, and Jean said that was only 1/4 taxes, that $3,000. You know what that means? It means that example that she showed before, where that's why they paid $18,000 to get that lien, that $3,000 lien, because right after 10 days after they buy that lien, they can go ahead and pay $9,000. And then they could pay another quarter. As of next month, they could pay another $3,000. Now, add that up. That's over $10,000. And if that township has a 6% year-end penalty, then yes, and it's held, and that lien is not redeemed until next year, they can get 24%, not on what they paid at the sale, but on all the subsequent taxes that they pay. Only if it's held until at least January 1st of 2021. And that's only if they have a 6% penalty. Not all towns do. Okay. And how do you find out what cities are interest or premium? And if you're talking about New Jersey, they all are. They all are. Every state, usually each state, well, there are exceptions. Like Maryland has different interest rates in every county, and they have different, but they do premium at every sale. New Jersey, they all do it the same way. They're state statutes that they go by. So each town doesn't make up their own. The only thing that each town makes up in New Jersey is whether or not it has a 6% year-end penalty. But they all do bidding down the interest rate and pay premium. Okay, the other states do one or the other, and some states bid something else entirely. It just depends on the state. So you don't have to worry about what happens from one city to another. They all do the same thing. It just depends on the competition. Like some competition is going to bid it down and then bid up the premium. As a matter of fact, that's going to happen at most sales in New Jersey. The trick is finding the sales that are less competitive, that don't get bid up so high. That was actually a good deal. If you had the money in your pocket to pay $18,000 for that $3,000 lien, that was a good deal. Okay. Okay, and we've got a question here from Marion. I got 3 lots in Florida through tax deed auction. I contacted a title company with lawyers in Florida. They told me the best way I have to sell the properties are getting quiet title action for each lot, paying $2,500 to $3,500 each for the lands. Also, I was told from another company that I would not have any problem if I get a special warranty deed. The cost is less than quiet title action. Could you explain why I have to get a quiet title action? What do you think if I can get a special warranty deed? What exactly is a special warranty deed? God bless you for your help. Thank you very much. Oh, you're welcome, Marianne. Okay, here's what happens when you get a property at a tax deed sale or when you foreclose on a tax lien and get a property, a tax lien property. You don't get a warranty deed. You get a tax title or a tax deed. But it's basically equivalent to a quit claim deed. So it's not a warranty deed. To get a warranty deed, you need, even with a special warranty deed, you're still going to need, you might need title insurance. Here's why. Let's say somebody's buying your property and let's say they're getting a loan on your property. Well, the mortgage company is going to want title insurance. They're going to want to see, you're going to need title insurance. So to get top dollar for your property, you're going to need title insurance. And what the title insurance company does is they examine the chain of title. Okay. There are 2 ways to correct the title, because when you get a tax sale property, it does not come with clear title. So there's 2 ways to correct that. You could do a title certification process, okay, or you could do a quiet title action. What I have heard, I don't know if it's true or not, but what I have heard from other experts in Florida is that it's best to hire an attorney and do the quiet title action. It does cost a little more, but you're better off doing that. That being said, because if you've got lots and they're land, you might be able to sell it, especially if you're selling it on owner financing, without getting that, without doing that quiet title action. So it's not going to hurt to try to sell them without doing the quiet title action. And then when you find out you need to clear the title, then you could go ahead and clear the title. But Marion, I hope, I don't know if you're on here with us today, because Nicole gave me that question. So I hope this answers that question for you. But I would shop around. I wouldn't just use the first attorney. I would shop around. You do want a real estate attorney to do this, one that does quiet title actions. And you want somebody that's going to be honest with you about your ability to sell the property without having a clear title. Because if you're just selling land, you can even sell it on owner financing. And it all depends on if the person that's buying the property needs to get a loan or not. If they're going to get a mortgage, then yes, you're going to need to quiet the title. But if they're paying cash for the property, depends on how much you're asking for it. If they're paying cash for the property, then you may not need that quiet title. And what the quiet title does is it allows your attorney to write up a special warranty deed. Okay, so my question to you was, who's the company that said that you could, they would give you a special warranty deed? Because In order to do that, they're still going to have to clear the title. They could do a title certification process, and how much are they going to charge for that? And the idea is this. You may also have to wait a year before you can get top dollar for that property, because a lot of title companies are not going to insure the title, even if you have a warranty deed, because you got it from a tax deed sale. Because when you purchase a property from a tax deed sale, the previous owner still has the right to come and challenge that sale. They have to go through the courts, but they only have a year to do that. After a year, they can't do that anymore. So that's why in some title companies will not insure a title until a year after the deed sale. All right, I hope that has answered that that question. All right, now Jean's saying, I'm lost, too confusing. How do I get your book, Tax Lien Investing Secrets? You can buy tax liens in New Jersey. I thought they all do one or the other. Jean, I don't know. I'm lost, too confusing. All right, it looks like that's 2 questions. How can you get my book, Tax Lien Investing Secrets? You could go to taxlieninvestingsecrets.com. That'll tell you about the book, but you actually get the book from Amazon, and there's a link there to go to Amazon to get the book. And no, New Jersey, they don't do one or the other. Each state usually does one or the other, but everything is consistent throughout most states. Everything is consistent. Okay. And when is the deadline for signing up for Sunday's webinar? You can sign up through Sunday, but I suggest you sign up like a day before. So I would sign up by Saturday. Yeah, because Sunday at noon, I am going to cut it off so that everybody signs up can get into the live. Because after the live webinar, it's not going to be $149 to it's going to be made into a course, which will be probably twice as much money. Okay, Philip says, can you speak on Colorado? I was thinking of experimenting with buying what looks like a building lot in a new development. Can't find any street view maps. Can't find any street view maps. Yeah, probably because it's a new development. You would have to look at the tax map to see where, and if this is like a basically new development, that might not be there either. And that's something Philip, that's something I would have to look into and do on a coaching basis, or and something I do for my members of the Tax Lien Profits Accelerator is I do have a monthly group coaching call where I actually show my screen and show you how to do stuff like that. But this is not a call where I can do that on. All right. Let's see what else we have here. Okay, Nicole put in the link for you to get the book. And again, that link will just go to a website where it will have a button for you to go to Amazon to get the book, and then you can come back to that page and get the bonuses that after you purchase the book. All right, any other questions? Any other questions? And I'm trying to think, Philip, if there's anything that I could tell you today about Colorado. Oh, I know. There is a software that I use to do due diligence in Colorado, and that's Lien Point. You can't purchase it. It's something that I do make available to my members. You used to be able to purchase it, but I don't see it. I don't see it available online anymore. The company that makes it is Lumentum LLC, and they make it available for me to give to my members. And that actually shows you the parcels that are in the tax sales. And they don't do it for every state, but they do it for Colorado, especially for the online Colorado sales. If the sale is not online, and they don't have it, if you ask them to get it, if you provide them with the list and you ask them to get the data, they will get it for you. I mean, if you're a member. Okay, let's see if there's anything else. And Jean, you're asking, is this for New Jersey? Is what for New Jersey? My book is not specifically about New Jersey, but it does have a lot of information for New Jersey because that's where I do most of my investing. And that's where I have most of my experience. I have experience in a lot of other states as well, but New Jersey is the one that I do most of my personal investing. I've done investing with and for other people in South Carolina, Indiana. I've actually done some personal investing, well, in Arizona, Florida, Illinois. Those are the ones that I could think of off the top of my head that I've done. But Pennsylvania, Michigan, most of my investing though is in New Jersey. So I'm not sure if that's what you meant, Jean, if you were talking about the book or something else. Okay, so let me know. And I have about 5 more minutes to answer your questions, and then I'll be back next week, or maybe I'll see you tomorrow night. Remember, it's free to register for tomorrow night. Oh, my book on tax lien investing in New Jersey. That was a really old ebook. I don't sell that anymore. But there is a book on investing in New Jersey by Mike Pellegrino. And you could get that on Amazon. The name of the book is Tax Liens, and it's by Mike Pellegrino. And you could just look on Amazon for that book. And it's a real thin book. Let me, I don't know, I don't have it, I have it here, but it's over on my shelf and I'd have to look for it. So I don't want to leave you guys right now to look at it, to look for it. But that's the only book that is specifically about New Jersey. And Mike Pellegrino is a New Jersey tax lien attorney. And I used to have a link to his book on my website, but at this moment, I don't know where to find it, Nicole, so I can't give it to you. Yeah, I don't have a book in print specifically about New Jersey. I do have one in that I did years ago. It was the first book I ever wrote, and it's not only about New Jersey. It's Tax Lien Investing Secrets: How You Can Invest in Tax Liens in New Jersey and Other States. So it wasn't only about New Jersey, but it was mostly about New Jersey. However, what is in that book is in my book, my newer book that's in print that Nicole has sent to you. What's in that book is in there. There's a lot about New Jersey in there, but if you want a book just on New Jersey, get Mike Pellegrino's book. It's a good book to have, Tax Liens. Okay. So let's see, is there anything else? Let me take a look, see if we've got any more questions. Yeah, Jean, that book, Tax Lien Secrets, How You Can Buy Tax Lien Certificates in New Jersey, and the actual title of that is In New Jersey and Other States, is an old ebook that I no longer sell. And yeah, and if you buy Mike Pellegrino's book, that is the spelling of his name. And the name of his book is Tax Liens. Okay. Yeah, go go in your crawl space and get it. Jean says she thinks she has it somewhere in her crawl space. Green cover, yes, it's a great. That's it. That's it. That's the copy. It. Nicole put it in there for you. Um, yeah, yes, and it's on Amazon. And Jean says she has that. Yeah, yeah, and that is the only book that there is no book that's only about New Jersey, and any other book is not going to do justice to New Jersey because New Jersey is so different than other states. Just by the fact that, and so is the rest of New England, by the way, because New England and New Jersey and even New York do not have, well, New York does have big county tax sales. They have tax deed sales, and they have Nassau County as a big county tax lien sale, but also the villages and towns and cities can have their own tax sales in New York. Well, all of New England and New Jersey, um, they don't have county tax sales. Their tax sales are all done by the municipalities. They are different than the rest of the country. And New Jersey is entirely different than anybody else. Okay. And let me tell you, Connecticut, not only can each of the towns have their own tax sale, they can decide whether they wanted to have a tax lien sale or a redeemable deed sale. All right. So I think I've answered all the questions that I've had for today. And I hope to see you next week. Again, it'll be at 1 o'clock during the month of October. And I hope to see you guys Wednesday night at our wealth building webinar, and would love it to have you with us on the workshop that we're doing on Sunday. I'm working on that now. I'm doing a lot of research on what's going on, especially in light of COVID. And there, I'll tell you now, there are not many redeemable deed sales online. There are just a handful, and I will, Sunday, I'll show you where to find out about those sales and which ones they are. Okay. I'll see you guys all either tomorrow night or next week. Bye.